I think sales gets a very bad reputation, like oftentimes because a lot of people sell things they don't believe in, and they sell it to fill their pockets, and they're in it for them and not for the prospect and not for the client. And so I want to start a series where I'm redefining the way we view sales and rewriting the narrative. And today I want to talk about how I recently lost a deal, and hopefully this will help both of us win more deals in the future and lose less deals. Let's get right into it. I was working with a client. We've met each other before in person. We like each other, but we've only known each other for less than a year. The people at the company, the main guy, the top dog, right? The person that kind of runs down the IT department there, he's been with the company for 18 years. And for probably about a decade, they've used the same vendor for one of their softwares, and they haven't had the same rep the entire time, but they had the same company the entire time, and so they know the product works. And so when something works, we've heard that saying, if it's not broken, we shouldn't try to fix it. And so the greatest competitor of all that I've had to learn in sales is not your competitors, it is the status quo. As much as people hate to admit it, we don't like change. With the caveat of that, and the purpose of this video being, when we see value, when we see the value in the thing, we have no problem paying for it. Like, I wouldn't give you $100 for a cup of Starbucks, but I easily, without a second thought, will pull up my credit card and give you $10,000 for a brand new Tesla. And so when we see the value, we have no issue paying the price. And so the price really isn't even the big objection that a lot of people think it is. So can we just for a second follow my belief for the sake of this video until the end, with price is not the real objection, and your real competitors aren't your real competitors. The biggest competitor is the status quo. And so it's not about price and it's not about your competitors. It is about the status quo. People don't like change. So how do we address that? How do we fix that? When you cold call, people don't have time for people they don't like, trust, or know. And to break them away from the status quo, it isn't too different from that. I believe your prospect has to like you, and when they like you, they'll be willing to open up. And when they're willing to open up, that's where you can dig for pain. Because if it is broken, or if it was broken, then they're more likely to change. Because if it's not broken, they don't, then there's no need to fix it, right? So we need to dig for that pain. And if there was pain, then the job of the salesperson is to bring that pain to the bigger picture. Because change is uncomfortable, that doesn't mean change is a bad thing. It might, the case might be change is actually going to be better for this person, right? It might make sense that mom and dad no longer walks you to the bathroom when you're 13 years old, or they're no longer, or you're finally able to walk to school because you're a teenager now and not an 8-year old, right? Change sometimes is good. It is necessary. We need to grow up to be independent and to have that ability to fail. They have to give us room to fail, to make mistakes, and to fall on our knees and get back up, because that's how we grow. That's how we get stronger and better. That's how we evolve as human beings. And so digging the pain, I just want to emphasize that real quick. It's not a bad thing. You're not a bad person. You're not a bad salesperson. As long as you believe in the product and service that you have to provide. And when you believe in the product and service you have to provide, then influencing and selling is no longer a salesy thing. It's no longer a bad thing. It's a good thing, especially if there was some pain. the product or service that your prospect or your client currently has right now, it might not be completely broken where they know they need to fix it, but there might be small cracks and scratches, and it actually might be worth it for them to finally make that repair, to switch over to get something brand new, because they've been sitting on the same old dusty cracky screechy chair for the last 10 years. It could benefit them, their back, their health, their butt, to get a new chair. And so, digging that pain, I believe that's the job of the salesperson, to bring that into perspective. And once you bring that into perspective, then I believe they'll be more willing to evaluate what you have to offer, your brand new chair. And I actually love this chair analogy, so we're going to stick to it. And the last part is, so first they had to like you so that they open up to share that pain. And then you must dig that pain. That's number two. And the third part, I believe, is they have to trust you and they have to believe that you can solve their problem. They need to trust you and believe that the chair that you have to sell them is actually going to be a better chair. It's going to be functional, and it's going to be more comfortable, and it's going to be better for your health. And notice how in those few bullet points that I made, it has nothing to do with price. It has nothing to do with your competitor. The real competitor is that they have to like you. They have to have some kind of pain that you're able to shed some light on and bring into perspective. And they have to trust you and believe that you can solve their problem. And so the deal that I lost recently, I believe they liked me. There wasn't much pain. The real pain was that they were paying more money through their current vendor versus through me. I brought that to their attention, and they took my price and negotiated it probably with their vendor and got them to lower the bar. And so in that way, I did help my prospect. And this is something that I have no problem doing, actually. As long as I'm still in business and I'm not out of business because of this, I have no problem with my clients and my prospects leveraging me and leveraging us to get a better deal for themselves, because I believe that is the true essence of sales, is that you want to help your prospect and your client make a decision that is best for them. Did they make the right decision though? I'm saying that, I don't have an issue with my client leveraging me to get a better price for themselves, but did they make the right decision? I didn't dig enough into the pain. Like, was there more pain? Something that came to my attention that I didn't say, that I probably should have said after reflecting on it, was you told me yourself that you've seen, after being in this industry for 18 years, that vendors get complacent with their pricing after a while, then they're gonna do it again. I realize that you can take my price and bring it to a vendor, bring it to your current vendor and negotiate pricing. I'm sure you can do that. But what's to stop them from raising the price again because they've done it before? I think that should be the argument I should have made. The client does like me. The client does trust me. But the truth of the matter is, as of where it stands right now, they've only known me for a year, and they've known their other vendor, maybe not the same rep, but the same company, the same product, the same exact service, for a decade. And so, if it wasn't broken, they don't see the need to fix it. They take on risk by trying a new product, by trying me and my product and my service. They'll take on a risk if they go my direction. And that is partially why people don't like change, because there is risk. They trust me, but they might not necessarily trust my product and my service. And so the two areas where I believe I failed in closing this deal was, one, if they're overcharging you now, what's to stop them from doing it again? And then number two, let's build the trust in our product and service, because the product and service that was on the line, truly, that is top of the line for us. That is something that we do day in and day out. And so to have a product and service that I believe in and to let the deal fall out of my hands, that was on me. And so just to recap, the three things I believe is they have to like you. Likability opens the gateway so that you can talk to them and so that you guys can dig through the pain points and make it make sense for the client to make that change, to take that leap. Because initially taking that leap is scary, right? There's risk. When the first time you ride a bike, you're probably going to fall. You might get hurt. And so that the consequence of stepping on a bike for the first time is scary, is uncomfortable. But wouldn't you agree that the payout is so much better? You learn how to ride a bike, you learn how to swim, you learn how to ice skate, you learn how to ask a girl out to date, and all of these things, the first time you do it is uncomfortable. But when you have people that you can count on, people that will be there for you when things go wrong. When you fall off your bike, your dad will be there or your mom will be there, pick you back up. When you get rejected, your family will be there, your friends will be there. And when your product or service goes wrong, because things are never perfect and there's always things out of our control that will go wrong. When it goes wrong, I will be there. And I believe that is the selling point. And I believe the way I view sales is how I kind of want to shift the perspective of sales to buyers and sellers, because I always believed, I never thought I'd be in sales. I thought sales had this very negative connotation behind it, this bad reputation that you're just a sleazy used car salesman trying to get people to buy things that you don't really believe, and you're trying to milk people for their pennies and dimes and nickels and what have you. But I believe sales is about having the other person's best interest in mind and living. When I first started making cold calls, it was really hard for me because in back of my head, as much as I hate to admit it, I was like, I want them to say yes. I want them to say yes so that I can make money because I'm paid off commission, because that's how sales functions. Um, but when I finally shifted my perspective to my goal is to help them make a decision, because I do have their best interest in mind, then my that's when everything changed for me. That's when I no longer feared rejection as much. That's when I no longer felt like a that's when I feel like I finally separated myself from that negative reputation and connotation that sales has. And it's because we were genuinely trying to help. And this just gave me the idea of starting a series of rewriting the narrative that is sales. So I hope this was helpful. Hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.